Hey, hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. So recently I was in the library with my daughter. We were just looking for some books and she's 14 now, so she's at the age where she's looking at adult fiction. And there's a copy of The Road by Cormac McCarthy there. So I thought I'd pick that up for myself. I've seen that on a ton of book lists, YouTube channels. You see it all the time, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I've never actually read any of Cormac McCarthy's books. I haven't seen any of the movies, but it was always something that was kind of on my radar. And since it was there, I thought I'd pick it up and read it and review it for this channel. Now I know it's kind of cliche to read or review Cormac McCarthy, but you know what? Don't care. So thought I would talk about it. It's a very quick read. I think most people know the plot. And I won't give any spoilers away here for those of you who haven't read it or are thinking about reading it. It's basically set in a post-apocalyptic world. We don't actually know what's going on in this place. It's kind of written in a way that makes it a bit ambiguous as to what caused the consequence, or what caused the problem that the characters face. Leave it. But at the end of the day, it's a post-apocalyptic world. They're walking down the road, trying to head south towards a warmer environment where there may be food. So that's basically the plot, and it's the journey that they take. There's problems along the way, of course, and it's mostly just the dad and the younger son, and those are really the only two characters that are developed. There's some characters that exist in their memories. There's some people they meet along the road, although those characters are never really developed. They're more, creatures that kind of lurk out of the sort of foggy, sooty kind of environment. And that's basically it. And to be honest, something happened with this book that's never happened to me before, and that is the fact that when I read a book, I usually know very quickly whether I like it or whether I don't. If I want to read a book that I don't read, I typically have to force myself, or I stop. If I love a book, it's a page turner. Sometimes there's books that I'm just happy with. I'm not like super excited or super hostile towards them. But this book was different because it was very ambiguous for me. I read it. It's a quick read. And I actually wasn't sure that I liked it. And it took a couple of weeks for me to think about it, to actually decide whether I liked the book or not. And I did like it, actually. I really liked it. I had to reflect on it a long time, though, because it's not normally the kind of book that I would read. It's just different. And so I thought I'd talk about what the book was for me, why it was important to me, and how it connects to my life. Because I think for many of us, just reading a book with no connection is not super useful or super meaningful or helpful or whatever. We want to be able to connect to the story in some way, whether it's to the author's experience or the universal message in the novel or whatever. So it took me a while to find the connection to this one. But before I get into that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the setting and what I like it. One of the things that I like about some books is I love the way the setting can be used to really be part of the character or part of the setting. It's almost like a character itself. And in this case, we basically had the cold, which is, if you live in Canada, you know what cold is. You know how never getting warm can really affect the emotions. It can be oppressive in a way that just sucks you in. Then there's the sooty darkness. Like in the daylight, you can see a little ways, but at night it's pitch black. And then you have like the soot itself, which basically, it erases all the tracks. And all in all, the setting really is kind of creates a bubble around these two characters, and there's other people along the road that they meet that sort of come into that bubble, but it just closes that down. And for me, that really had the effect of taking away all the sort of distractions and really making the story about the father and the son and their relationship and what the dad's doing in the story. And I think it's really about the dad, because I hear a lot of people, and it's not wrong, I'm not saying this is wrong, this is just my interpretation, is that this is a father and a son kind of story, and it's their trip down the road. But for me, the kid had a very sort of narrow character compared to the dad. I think this was really about the dad. The kid, the kid was almost a foil to bring out what the dad's mission was. And so I really think this was about the dad making sure that he was doing everything he could. He was alive only for the sole purpose of getting that child down the road, and to getting that child to safety and to the future, place where possibly everything's going to be great. Maybe that's, I don't know. I'm not a university professor here, so teaching English, but for me, it's like the dad's job, the sacrifice of the dad, and this is the key of the novel, is to make the kid, or to get the kid to that point in the future where things are going to be okay. And that might be adulthood. That might be building them up so that they have the skills to face the world, whatever they might do. I really think that's what this story is about. And for me, that's what made me look back at this book after it had a couple of weeks to digest it and just think about what was that book about? Because it's bizarre, and there's all this stuff going on, and there's some shocking aspects to it, and I could very much see this book being used for ideological purposes like environmentalism or anti-war, and all that stuff is great, and all that stuff might be true. I'm a strong believer in avoiding the bias of one-thingism, which is like the book has to be one thing. Hopefully, a book is about 100 things. The more, the better. The more interpretations, the broader we can take this piece of work and make it mean something to ourselves, then the better. But that's ultimately what this book was to me. This was a book about a dad, and this was a book about a dad in horrible circumstances, doing the most that he could do to make this kid viable in the environment he's in. And the takeaway, not to be repetitive, but I think the takeaway especially for any parent, but dads in particular, like we have a job, no matter how bad it is, no matter if this is after a nuclear war or like a comet strike or God knows what, like our job doesn't change. And that's to make sure that our kids are okay and that they get to that point. And if that means us staying alive just for that, or suffering just for that, then so be it. That's just the way it is. So a dark book, maybe not a book to read, but a quick book. And so, if you find this one painful, it's not going to take you too long. But you should read it. I recommend it. And that's an honest recommendation from someone that had to sit on this for a little while before they decided that, I decided that I even liked it. So anyway, that is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please subscribe and like this video. And if that floats your boat, I would appreciate it. Help me out or not. That's all cool. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.